Okay, get ready, because today we are diving into a wild claim. Can a specific sound frequency, like 33 hertz, really be the key to unlocking, well, a very specific kind of pleasure?
It does sound a little out there, right? Like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
But there's actually a really interesting mix of like anecdotal stuff and some actual scientific principles swirling around it. And that's what we're going to unpack today.
I love it. Okay, so where do we even begin with this 33 hertz business?
Well, our journey starts with a guy named David J. Jordan and his book, 33 Hertz and Sex.
Okay.
Now, full disclosure, Jordan, he takes this concept to some, let's say, interesting places.
Okay, fair warning, listeners. We're going there.
Yeah, he kind of weaves together scientific concepts with interpretations that, some folks might find a little out there.
A little esoteric, maybe?
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so what's the foundation of his argument? What's he even claiming here?
So Jordan, he kicks things off with this tale of a supposedly top-secret experiment. He calls it Project Q. And it allegedly went down in Daytona Beach back in the mid-90s.
Project Q. Okay, you've got my attention. What happened in Daytona?
So picture this. A group of researchers, a seriously bumpin' sound system, and their mission to explore how different bass frequencies, the low-end sounds, affect female volunteers.
Interesting.
And their goal, to see if they could induce, let's just say, a physical response using only sound.
Okay, so we're talking about like a sonic experience.
Precisely.
And this Project Q, that's where they landed on 33 hertz being the magic frequency.
That's what Jordan claims. He says these Project Q folks found that 33 hertz, it was like the sweet spot. It consistently produced the most, shall we say, intense reactions in their volunteers.
All right, so we've got this experiment, clandestine as it may be, that supposedly points to 33 hertz having a certain potency, but Jordan doesn't stop there, does he?
Not at all. He connects 33 hertz to the 33 vertebrae in the human spine.
Okay.
Suggesting that the right frequency can, unlock a pathway to,
To heightened sensitivity.
Let's just say Jordan is very direct about the link between 33 hertz and female pleasure. And get this, he's not alone in believing this. He brings in these anecdotes from DJs, particularly in the drum and bass scene, claim they've seen similar things happening at their shows.
Wow, okay. So on the one hand, we've got these, shall we say, colorful accounts of these sonic experiences. But on the other hand, we got to ask, what does actual science have to say about all this? Is there any evidence to back up these claims?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Jordan, he actually brings in a real expert, Malcolm Crocker, a professor at Auburn University and a big name in the world of acoustics.
So he's bringing in a legitimate scientist to weigh in on all this. What does Crocker make of this 33 hertz phenomenon?
Well, Crocker, he doesn't just dismiss the whole thing out of hand. He actually brings up the concept of resonance, which is, a very real scientific phenomenon. Every object, your body included, has natural frequencies at which it vibrates.
It's like when an opera singer hits that perfect note and shatters a glass. That's resonance in action, right?
Exactly. It's a dramatic example of how sound waves, which are really just vibrations, can interact with, physical objects. And Crocker points out that our organs, they also have natural frequencies, around 10 hertz, which isn't that far off from 33 hertz when you think about it.
So there is a scientific basis for the idea that sound, like specific frequencies, could have an effect on the human body.
Theoretically, yeah. Think about how certain bass frequencies can make you feel that vibration in your chest.
Oh, yeah.
That's your body actually responding to those sound waves.
Okay, so we've got, some intriguing anecdotes and the scientific principle that suggest this 33 hertz thing could be possible. But do we have any real proof that this magic number is legit?
Well, buckle up, because Jordan references an unlikely source, an article in Playboy magazine.
Playboy magazine. Okay, now I have to know more. What is this, like some secret code for pleasure buried in there?
Not quite. This Playboy article, it talks about something called the QC factor.
The QC factor.
Yeah.
All right, I am officially intrigued. What is this?
So the article, it tells this story about some, car audio installers in Daytona Beach.
Wait, Daytona Beach again?
You got it. Remember, that's where Project Q supposedly went down.
Right.
And these guys, they supposedly decided to conduct their own little experiment.
Hold on. So we're talking about a bunch of car audio guys during spring break in Daytona Beach deciding to test out this. I mean, doesn't exactly scream rigorous scientific study.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
But according to the article, they claim to have tested this QC factor on over 50 female volunteers. And they did it using a Honda Accord with a particularly impressive sound system.
And did they find this so-called QC factor? Was there a frequency that, consistently delivered?
According to them, yes. And that magic number, you guessed it, 33 hertz. Okay, I'll grant you, testing this stuff out in a Honda Accord, maybe not the most scientifically sound method.
Yeah, a tad unconventional.
Yeah.
But even if we take these anecdotes with a massive grain of salt, there's still this big question looming.
Yeah.
Could there really be something about specific sound frequencies that, cause a physical response?
Right. That's the million-dollar question. And it makes you think about something that often gets lost in all this.
What do you mean?
Well, we fixate on these specific claims, like this whole 33 hertz thing.
Yeah.
But we don't always step back and look at the bigger picture. We live in a world that's just saturated with sound.
That's true.
Frequencies, vibrations, rhythms, it's constant. And our bodies, they're incredibly sensitive to all of it.
Yeah.
So is it really that crazy to think that certain sounds could be affecting us in ways we don't even fully grasp yet?
That's a good point. I mean, we use sound to heal in some cases. Like, think about ultrasound technology.
Exactly. Or look at sound therapy. It's becoming more and more popular, using specific frequencies and vibrations to help people relax, de-stress, even manage pain.
So the claims about 33 hertz, those might be debatable. But it seems pretty clear that sound can have these powerful effects on us, effects that we're just starting to understand.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to Jordan. Look, his methods might be a little unorthodox.
A little bit.
But he's onto something with this idea that sound holds a certain power.
Oh, he definitely takes that idea and runs with it. I mean, we haven't even touched on his whole interpretation of 33 hertz being connected to, Christ consciousness and some higher spiritual plane.
Right. That's where things veer off into, let's say, personal belief.
Which is fine. But personally, I'm more interested in what we can actually explore through a scientific lens. What we can observe and test.
And that's totally valid. Not every intriguing idea has to be, shrouded in mysticism. Sometimes the coolest discoveries come from just being curious and observing the world around us.
100%. So how do we balance these two sides? The scientific and what's called the experiential. Where's the line?
It's a balancing act for sure. We need rigorous science to weed out the fact from the fiction. But we also got to stay open to the possibility that there are still mysteries out there waiting to be uncovered. Things we don't have all the answers to yet.
I like that a lot. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, let's talk about where this whole exploration of 33 hertz, this power of sound, could lead us. Well, we've gone deep into this world of 33 hertz, haven't we? Secret experiments, car audio tests, scientific principles, even spiritual interpretations.
Well, what a ride. It's been quite the journey.
It really has. But as we wrap up here, I'm wondering, where do we even go from here? What's the takeaway?
That's the thing about this kind of exploration, right? It opens up all these doors. We've just scratched the surface of how sound, something we're surrounded by constantly, might be impacting us in ways we never even considered.
It's like we've tapped into this whole other dimension just by thinking about these ideas.
Totally. And look, we might not have a definitive answer about 33 hertz and what it can or can't do.
Right.
But it gets us asking bigger questions, doesn't it? About sound and the human body and the mysteries that connect them.
Absolutely. So for our listeners who are now totally fascinated by this, where would you even direct them? If they want to dive deeper into this world of sound, where should they look?
Oh, there's so much out there. Check out sound healing. There's a whole field called cymatics, which looks at wave phenomena. And of course, there's the science of acoustics itself, how sound shapes our environments. It's fascinating stuff.
It's almost like 33 hertz. Whether or not it's actually this magic number some people claim. It's like a symbol, makes you stop and really listen to the world around you in a whole new way.
I love that. It's not just about one frequency. It's about opening yourself to the possibilities.
Yes.
Who knows what we'll discover about ourselves, about the universe, just by listening a little more closely.
I love that. So well said. To all our listeners out there, the next time you're cranking up the bass or you feel that shiver down your spine when you hear a piece of music that really moves you, think about this conversation. Think about 33 hertz and all the questions it brings up. There's a whole world of sonic wonder out there waiting to be discovered.